hey! What's happening, Jets fans? It's good to be here. It's good to be back. I'm excited for this one. I couldn't wait to get this one out to you. This is an important one for me. We are going to break down the entire off-season master plan as far as Green Bean sees it. We're going to get this going. So welcome to episode 55 of Green Bean's Jets Pod. I am Green Bean. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate it. I'm always so happy to get into it with you guys. I so enjoy the banter. I do. And look, it's so easy to be negative. It is with this damn organization that we have at the forefront of our fandom. It is. But why not get into a little positivity? This is the off-season after all. The most wonderful time of the year. You know it is. We are the off-season champs, reigning off-season champs, 31 years consecutively. Nobody talks about that. How come we don't get our rings? There should be an off-season ring, should there not? Well, listen, I am excited to get into this one. I have a lot to discuss. We're going to talk about who we're cutting, who we're keeping, who we're signing. We're even going to weigh that out into the comp pick formula. I'm not seeing that out there. We're all talking about our mocks and everything, but very few really focus on the comp pick equation, which I'm going to do for you. How does it all land? You do know that the Patriots, the Ravens, every single year, they get 2 to 4 extra draft picks. Extra. There are years where the Patriots have had 2 or 3 extra third-round picks. Can you imagine? We had to trade Leonard Williams to get an extra third-round pick. We had to trade Jamal Adams to get, in addition to 2 firsts, a third-round pick. It's valuable. This is valuable stuff. If we pay attention to this the right way, if we balance the free agents we sign with the free agents we allow to leave, if we balance that correctly, you can literally see us get 2 to 4, or let's just say 1 to 4 extra draft picks, even if they're 6ths and 7ths. We could use a 6th or 7th this year, could we not? We don't have any. Now, Joe Douglas parlayed them into 5ths and 4ths, so I'll take it. But the truth is that we're going to go a long time before we have a pick between our last pick in the 5th round and undrafted free agents. It's going to be a minute. So having comp picks, getting an extra 6th and an extra 7th, getting an extra 4th or an extra 5th, and even, dare I say, a 3rd round pick, guys. It's no joke. So we're going to talk about that as well. We're also going to balance our budget and see how that sits. And I'm going to give you the rosters at the end of the day and what this would look like. I think you're going to like it. You're either going to hate it or you're going to like it. Okay. And the truth is, I've already changed my mind a couple times from what I put down here. So it's an evolving thought process, as I'm sure you're aware of. Who I want to draft today, it's in 6 weeks. I might be like, oh, I don't want to draft that guy anymore. That's how it goes. But I do have some of my favorite sleepers. I'm going to give you two sleepers that are in this draft that I think you're going to love. And you might not have even heard of them yet. And that is courtesy of 2 of my supporters, viewers, listeners. And I'm going to let you know who that is as well. So before we get into the entire offseason, I want to thank our sponsor for the Green Bean's Jets Pod, DraftKings. They have some big news. It's a huge week for DraftKings sports betting. And I'm going to let you know what that is with a word from DraftKings.
The NFL playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official betting partner of the NFL, is kicking things off with a huge offer. Counting down to Super Bowl 56, they're going to give all new customers using the promo code GreenBean 56 to 1 odds. That's putting just $5 down, and you win $280 in free bets if the team you choose wins the game. It's $5. All you do is take $5, put it down on any NFL team to win any NFL playoff game. If that team wins, all new customers using the promo code GreenBean are going to get $280 back in free bets. It's that simple. And if you don't have sportsbook in your area, don't even worry. DraftKings has something for you too. All people everywhere can play their daily fantasy contests for huge prizes. And DraftKings is also giving all new customers the chance to win millions millions of dollars in total prizes with your first deposit. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, use promo code GreenBean and get 56 to 1 odds. Again, $5, win 280 back in free bets. That's promo code GreenBean, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official betting partner of the NFL.
All right, and thank you to DraftKings. And just a reminder, the link to the DraftKings sports betting app is right in the top of the description of this very video. Click on that link, use the promo code GreenBean, and you're going to get 56 to 1 odds. Have you ever heard of such madness? 56 to 1. $5 turns into 280 in free bets. I don't know. I've never heard of 56 to 1 odds before. So this is a big one. And thank you to DraftKings for sponsoring Greenbean's Jets Pod. I could not be more grateful. So that brings us to the sign. What is this thing? When you see it, look at this amazing thing. So this was given to me courtesy of Head Turner Customs, and he's at Bluebird Creative Art on Instagram, on their website, Bluebird Creative Art. I'm going to show you a little bit of what this actually looks like. You can't tell with my bright light on it, but it's changing. Lights, there's all kinds of different light patterns, and this is actually a Jets home football field. I'll show you that in just a second. And you got the 2 end zones and the yard lines, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece. I couldn't be more grateful to Head Turner and Bluebird Creative Art for giving it to me. Their information is in the top of the description as well. And guys, I could thank you. Thank you so much with the field, and oh my God, I'm blown away. So thank you to them. Supporters, you know, it's great. We get all kinds of supportive stuff from you guys, whether it's information on prospects, whether it's, hey, what about this news report? People are out there finding. I couldn't be more grateful to you guys. It's amazing. It really is amazing, the camaraderie that we've developed, the relationship, dare I say, that we've developed with one another. And again, gratitude is the best word to describe how I feel about such things. So now look. We also have the contest going here. I'm almost there, man. I know I wanted to do it by my 1-year anniversary. That didn't happen, but we're getting closer every single day. And thank you to all who subscribed so far. All you have to do to enter the contest is hit the sub button here, go over to Full Time Coaster Tour on YouTube and subscribe there. You are in the contest. You can win one of the t-shirts at GreenbeanJetsfan.com merch store, and one grand prize winner will get a t-shirt and the Manscaped Ultra Smooth Pack. And that will be nifty. And plus the grand prize, you're going to get some Green Bean stickers. Woo! Wait, you're going to get that. So here we go. The New York Jets off-season master plan as orchestrated. I wanted to say architected. Architected by Green Bean, the Jets fan. Here we go. So the Jets are starting this offseason with $54,365,469 in cap space. No pennies. They don't play with that stuff. They round it all up. Isn't that nice? So we got to start. We got to see what it is that we need, right? We have to start there. So we're going to start with the cuts. We have to make some cuts, some hard cuts, some not so hard cuts, some obvious cuts. So let's start with probably the most obvious. And I'm sad to say, because he's a diehard Jets fan his whole life. And I'm with it. I support you. It's not working. You know, look, I can't. I'm a Jets fan. I want to play offensive line. I can't do it. So Greg Van Roten is going to be cut. It's a $3.5 million cap savings. I think it's a no-brainer. The guy, hey, look, you tried. You were here a couple years. You got to live your dream. Most of us will never get that. But sorry, dude, it's time to go. So $3.5 million. Savings from the cutting of Greg Van Roten. The next one is also kind of obvious and also kind of sad. Blake Cashman. Look, if I'm being real honest, when I was watching the draft that year, when we traded a bunch in the 4th and 5th round, McCagnon went nuts. Didn't get anything out of it, but moved all over the place. And then he picked linebacker Blake Cashman. This was what I did. What? That's what I said. That's what I said. Now, he's a very talented young man, lots of skills, a hard work ethic, all that sort of stuff, but he's never, ever healthy. I think he's played 3 or 4 games for us in 3 years. So it's not working, buddy. We're going to save $965,000. That's $1 million where I come from. $965 by cutting Blake Cashman. The Cashman dream is over. The next one is, some people might disagree, but I don't see it as even a question. Ty Johnson needs to go. He showed, look, he's got the incredible ability with the ball in his hand. The problem is he's also a liability in pass protection a lot of the time, and he has the drops. The one game he dropped 3 consecutive third down passes. I mean, so he's feast or famine. Again, we're looking for consistency. Even if your production is a little bit less, if you're consistent, that's going to be more valuable than the potential electric play that you offer every now and then. So Ty Johnson is also going to save us $965,000. That's $2 million from those guys. Ryan Griffin. Who doesn't like Ryan Griffin? I like Ryan Griffin. Think he plays hard, all that jazz. Now, he'd be a guy you might consider keeping around if he didn't cost $3.1 million. So $3.1 million outweighs the production that Ryan Griffin gives. We can very easily replicate his production. Great teammate, all that sort of stuff. Time to go. $3.1 million savings by cutting Griffin. Now, these guys, a lot of you won't even know who they are, but we got guys like Javin White. He's going to save $895,000. We have Zane Lewis. He's going to save us $705,000. Kai Nakua. Now, a lot of these guys, these were necessity signings. We had to sign them. We needed people in here. We had so many injuries. So Kai Nakua is going to go $965 for him. And this one is sad just because I just don't see names as cool that often. We're going to let go of Rashad Wildgoose. He saves $825,000, man. $825 for just a name. I'd like to see it work out, but Wild Goose probably is going to fly the coop. See what I did there? And then Shawn Phillips, who looked absolutely lost at times. Had that one, I think he had the pick, right? Great play early in the season. He's done very little since. He's going to save us $895,000 as well. In total, my cuts bring us $12.8 million to add to the $54 million. Now, there are 2 more that I think absolutely could be cuts. I'm going to keep them in the conversation for a little while and just see, okay? We have Austin Walter, who the coaching staff loves. I'm not the biggest fan of. I don't hate him or anything like that. I don't know. I think there could be better, more consistent production. And then we have the guy I do like and the coaching staff doesn't. That's Michael Pirine. So Pirine cuts or saves $708,000, and Austin Walter saves $895,000 for a total of $1.6 million. So if we were to add those guys to the list, it would be $14.4 million. Like I said, let's just keep them on the back burner. We're going to hold on to them, and if there's a free agent that we need an extra $1 or $2, we'll go ahead and let 1 or 2 of them go and use it. So without them, without Pirine and Walter, we have saved $12.8 million. Added to the 54 is $67.2 million in cap space. Woo! Yeah, what a job we've done already. This is already looking good, isn't it? So before we use it on external players, guys coming from other teams, we are going to look at our own and say, who do we need to keep around here? Who can't we keep, right? So we have to make some tough decisions. I think a very easy decision is the guy who just got named first team All-Pro kick returner. Congratulations, by the way, Mr. Braxton Berrios. We're going to sign him. I know I've heard everything from $3 million a year to $10 million a year. I'm somewhere in the middle. I think that you got to come in with a legit offer for him. He's a kick returner, All-Pro kick returner, and he's a damn good wide receiver. He's a 4 right now, but I'm not even convinced that the staff doesn't like him as a 3. I'm serious. Remember, Wayne Corbett had the same issues. People were having a hard time believing that he could be a full-time player, and he just outworked everybody, outperformed everybody. I think Berrios is doing something similar, although not quite on the level of Wayne Corbett, but maybe he'll get there. So I'm going to go ahead and offer him $6 million a year for 4 years, 24 total, 17 guaranteed. That's what we're going to do. We're going to come in and say, hey, dude, I know we could nickel and dime you to get you down to 5.1 or 4.8. We could do that. We can fight and we could do this. I'm coming in at 6. Sign the deal. It's a good deal. You know it is. I know it is. And let's get that done. And I'm even going to give you some commitment, 4 years, $17 million guaranteed. Okay? So that's Braxton Berrios. Next guy I'm going to keep surprises even me. because I didn't even want him in the first place, but I think he's done a good job when he's available. We're going to go ahead and sign Tevin Coleman for 1 more year, $2 million. He's a good, positive guy in the locker room. He adds vet leadership, all that jazz, to a very, very young room. So I think Tevin Coleman has done a good job. And so $2 million a year is nothing. Eddie Pinero. Come on. Now, look, one of the things you guys know, I have really supported Joe Douglas. I have been out there. I have been, explaining his moves, some potential thought processes, all this sort of stuff. I am a supporter of the Joe Douglas plan. I am. Now, a place that I just don't know what the hell he's doing is the kicker. I don't get it. I don't know what he's been doing since he's been here. It's one of the areas that makes me scratch my head. I don't get it. But Eddie Pinero, landing that fella at the end of the year, he's been perfect. So why wouldn't we sign a guy? Don't forget, guys, this is how we got Nick Folk. He was cut from Dallas, and they couldn't get him out of there fast enough. Nick Folk came to us. He was great. Same thing with Jason Myers. He was a cut. And we grabbed him, and he was great. Pro Bowl kicker for us. So this is very, very possible. It's a normal occurrence in the NFL. Kickers stink somewhere, they cut him, and they bring him over to the other team, and he does well, and he ends up having a career. You extend Eddie Pinero. They already gave a futures contract to Matt Amendola for competition. Maybe you bring in an undrafted free agent, one of these guys. Like a Borregales was an undrafted free agent, Blankenship, all these guys are undrafted free agents. So you go ahead and you try to bring one of those guys in, see if he can outwork and outplay Pinero and Amendola, but I think you definitely bring him back. Give him $1.5 million, maybe even $2 million for 2 years. Keep him around for 2 years and see where it goes. I'm also going to keep Mike effing White. Why wouldn't we? Give him a little raise, get him up to $1 million. He's proven that he can come in as a backup and win. He's proven it. You know how? By doing it. He's done it. Now, he's not a guy that you want to play your whole season maybe, but he's proven that if Zach goes down for a week or two or whatever, Mike White can come in, finish a game, play a game, and get us there. So he's a guy you want around. Young backup quarterback for some consistency in the quarterback room. $1 million for Mike White. Now, I'm also going to bring back Dr. Blocker himself, LDT. I'm going to bring him back 2 years for $3 million. Now, I'm not going to guarantee him a starting position or anything like that, but I'm going to say, hey, you come in, you compete. We're going to have a nice competition for the right guard spot. You play the best and you get the job. It's that simple. At minimum, he's a very, very strong reserve and a guy that you want on the team. He's done really well. He was an instant upgrade over GVR. And I think that's the kind of guy you want to have around. Now, I know that there's some issues going on with his medical license in Canada, and he might not even come back to the NFL. We'll address that later. For now, he's ours, and I want to keep him $3 million a year for 2 years. Nick Bawden. Why? Because of the fight in the last game. That's why. You got to keep those feisty bastards around. You do. He was leveling people in that game, and he's produced other times when he's been on the field. Give him $800,000. And keep him around for another year. You know this organization likes fullbacks anyway, so let's use him. Let's keep Nick Bawden around. He's been in the system, knows it. He's about to turn the corner and be even more beneficial to us. So we also have Tim Ward. Tim Ward, you say? Really? Yes. Don't forget who this guy was. He was on the Kansas City Chiefs being developed for 2 or 3 years. The fans loved him. They thought last year was going to be the year that he started to contribute more, like he's been simmering perfectly. Fans love him. They expected big things from him this year. And when they cut him to get him on the practice squad, like so many teams do, we stole him. And he has come in and played well for us in sparing duty. I think Tim Ward is absolutely worthy of bringing back as a depth piece, rotational, and I think he's good for $750,000. Hey, man, if he signs that, you keep him. The other guy that's interesting is Kyle Phillips. Now, why am I bringing Kyle Phillips back? Because in truth, I don't think we're going to be able to retain Fatukasi. You can't pay everybody. More than likely, we're going to pay Quinnen. We've already paid JFM. We're kind of paying Sheldon Rankins. I can see, Carl Lawson's being paid. So at some point, you're just going to have to lose guys. It's that simple. I would rather keep Fatukasi, but I don't see it happen. I think he's going to go out there and get a nice, rich contract, and good for him. The only 6th-round pick from McCagnon that did anything for us, really. So we're going to lose him. So I'm going to sign Kyle Phillips, who has come in and played very, very well. His rookie year was fantastic. He had a dip his sophomore year. This year he was injured, and when he came in, it was immediately noticed. Immediately. The first game he came in, he made an impact. So $895,000 for him. I'm also going to bring back Joe Flacco. Now, maybe we don't even keep him on the 53. Maybe he is, and Mike White's on the practice squad. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I think you bring him back. You give him $3 million for 1 year and keep him around. You heard Robert Saleh say how much of a positive influence Flacco was for Zach Wilson. So, hey, man, stop stirring it up. Stop flipping all this stuff. This is an easy one. He'll stay here. He knows he's not going somewhere to start. He'll stay. You give him $3 million. You say, just stay. Just stay right here. We love you. We'll keep you. And that's all good. Wrapped up with a bow. $3 million for 1 year for Joe Flacco. And the other guy I'm going to keep from our free agent list is Elijah Riley. Why? Because we love him. No, I don't want him to start, but that's the exact kind of guy you want running around developing on your team, on the bottom end of your roster. Nasty specials, running full speed 100% of the time. That's what you want. He has made impact plays. He's had some really, some clunkers too, but he's young, he's inexperienced, and he's the kind of guy who has shown the effort that you want to keep him around. Reward that sort of stuff. So Elijah Riley, $780,000 for him. After we re-sign our free agents, that lump is going to cost us $16.725 million. 16.725, which leaves us with a grand total of 47.475 going into free agency. That's a nice chunk of change. And don't forget, we still got Pirine and Austin Walter. We got a few fringy kind of guys that in the event somebody comes floating down the river, we can snatch them up and make that happen. So we're giving ourselves some breathing room here. We have the guys if we want them. If something comes that we like more, we have the room to kind of make some moves, okay? This is in addition to any restructuring and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, there's a lot more potential to do all sorts of crazy stuff, but for our purposes here today, we're going to keep it as cut and dry, all on the base floor here. So look, in addition to trades, I have all kinds of trade ideas, and everybody's talking Calvin Ridley or all these guys. We're not going to do any of that for this one. We're going to keep it very, very cut and dry. We're going to stay put in a lot of respects. So we got 47.475 going into free agency. Now, before we spend the money in free agency, I want to let you know that we had a total of 28 free agents, and we're only re-signing 9 of them. So that leaves 19 potential free agents to get signed elsewhere that could go in our favor toward the comp pick formula. Now, let me give you some of our notable free agents that more than likely will be able to get signed out there, okay? Now, don't forget there's a little bit of a window. Like last year, we had all kinds of guys like Brian Poole and Jordan Jenkins. These guys would have counted toward our comp pick formula to give us one to wipe clean one of the free agents that we signed, but they waited till after the window. Brian Poole got signed. Jordan Jenkins got signed. Peanut got signed. So these guys would have counted toward our comp pick formula, but they didn't. So who knows how it'll land this year? But I will tell you that in 2022 in the draft, I know they haven't released the comp picks yet, but we're not getting any. As you know, I keep track of this stuff every single year. I'm keeping track of how many we sign, how many we let go, who's getting signed in the window for how much, and all that sort of stuff. So let me give you some of our notable free agents that more than likely will be signed and has really the potential of giving us a +1 in the comp pick situation. So we have Marcus May. He's more than likely going to get signed somewhere. Will it be for the contract that he would have gotten last year before the DUI and the subsequent suspension that's coming and the Achilles injury after the ankle injury, all that stuff? Probably not, but I still think he's going to get signed. So we got Marcus May. We also have Keelan Cole, who I don't think we're bringing back, but will definitely get signed. The 3rd, 4th, 5th wide receiver, he's going to land somewhere. So we also have Jameson Crowder. He might be one that gives us a nice contract to get us a higher round pick. Jameson Crowder, sadly, I'd love to keep him, but I don't see it happening. We have Morgan Moses, another one I'd like to keep, but I don't see happening. He'll go out there. He's definitely going to get signed somewhere, definitely going to get a nice contract, and that'll +1 as well. And then we got Jared Davis. Is he going to get a starting job? Probably not. Is he staying here? Probably not. That experiment didn't work. We only had him for 1 year. Wisely, he failed, and he's going. Okay? So he'll get signed out there. We also have Dan Feeney, who we're not going to bring back. Dan Feeney is going to get signed somewhere. He's a reserve offensive lineman with plenty of starting experience, center, guard, versatile. He's going to get signed. LaMarcus Joyner, some people are saying they want to bring him back. Truth is, we don't know anything about Marcus Joyner. I see no reason to bring him back. He played for 5 minutes for us, got injured for the whole year, and why bring him back? I don't see it. So I'd rather just go another direction than the LaMarcus Joyner experiment, with all due respect to LaMarcus Joyner, but he's going to get signed somewhere. Tyler Kroft, another one that's more than likely going to get signed. Connor McDermott, plenty of backup experience, starting experience. I don't think we're going to keep him. I think we're going to consider it. It's possible. He's one that I'm kind of fringy on, but in the event he doesn't get signed by us, he's going to get signed elsewhere. Nathan Shepard will also get signed somewhere. Javelin Guidry, hey man, undrafted free agent, kind of made good. I think we're going to go in a different direction with what we do in free agency. I don't think he's going to be sticking around, even though the coaching staff does like him. I know they do, but I don't think he's going to be here next year, and he'll get signed somewhere. How about our big boy, Forlunzo Fadukasi? Foley, dang it, he's going to go. He's going to get a massive contract somewhere, in my opinion. First half of the year, don't forget, he was number 1 in the NFL in run stopping. Second half of the year, not so much. But so I think that's why we're going to let him go. He completely disappeared, and Kyle Phillips came in and played very well. Plus, we have Jonathan Marshall back there simmering on the back burner. So he's going to come in and fill that position as well. And then Daniel Brown. Hey, man, somebody thought well enough to trade somebody for him. They didn't keep him, but they did. So I think he'll get signed too. We do have all the other guys. So, some other lower end guys, but those are the ones I think have a lot of potential to be signed and count toward our comp pick formula. So that's 13 free agents. All right. Now, depending on what we sign in free agency, let's say we sign 4 or 5. That leaves 7 or 8 or 9 potential for comp picks. Now, best case scenario, we sign, let me see how many guys. Sign 5 guys in free agency. So that leaves 8 potential comp picks. Best case scenario, they all get signed somewhere within the window. We can get up to 4 maximum additional picks. I think this is the year that we're going to focus on that. I think that's why Joe Douglas does all the 1-year contracts, like a Tyler Kroft, like a Jared Davis, like a LaMarcus Joyner. These guys signed, they didn't work, they go. Not only are we not on the hook for the money, no guarantees, no additional cash, all that sort of stuff, but they're going to instantly count toward our comp pick formula. So if best case scenario happened, we would have the potential to get 8 comp picks. They'll take, not 8 comp picks, but 8 guys that'll count toward the comp pick formula. Then they will look at the 4 best, the 4 biggest contracts. So if it's like Jameson Crowder, Fadukasi, whatever, then we could get as high as a 3rd round pick. In reality, we'll probably get somewhere in the 5th and 6th, maybe even 7th round range. But hey, they're free. I'll take it. That's the kind of stuff you want to see. So that's how that could work out. Again, 2022 draft, we're not getting any. If we do, I have no idea how they did it. 2023, we might have ourselves a little something extra, some change in the pocket there, which would not be a bad deal. So let's move into free agency and spend this $47 million that I created, huh? What do you think of that? Now look, we did a really good job in the 2021 draft, particularly with the defensive backs. 5th, 6th rounders, even in 2020 with Bryce Hall, another 5th rounder. We've done very well. And I think they've played, honestly, they've exceeded expectations. But the truth is that it's a young group. And I think that they probably could use a number 1 corner, a vet, somebody who's been in the NFL a long time, somebody that you basically know what you're getting, and to kind of balance out that room, keep the young guys running around, growing, building, developing, progressing, all that stuff, and bring in somebody to fill the whole opposite of Bryce Hall. Brandon Echols can just go down to the dime package. We play a lot of it. I think Bryce Hall's a starter. I think Michael Carter II is a starter. And while I think Brandon Echols definitely showed up and is an asset to the team, I still think you can upgrade that position. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to get a big name, which we haven't really done to this point. But I think now that we have our quarterback, now that we have our coaching staff in place, this is the year. You want to know where to spend free agency? It's in that cornerback group. You want to know when to spend in free agency? It's after you have your quarterback, after you have a foundation on your team. Now let's go and spend this money. So we're going to bring on arguably the best cornerback in the NFL. Last year, he had the injury and all that jazz, but he was traded for by the Carolina Panthers. He played the final 8 games for them, did very well. And we're going to go down and pluck him from Matt Rule, a former Patriot, former Bill, knows the AFC East as well as anybody. Stephon Gilmore is going to come to the New York Jets because he wants to stay in the AFC East and he has no interest playing for Matt Rule and the shit show down there. So we're going to go steal him. We're going to give him $13 million a year for 3 years. Last year, he played 8 games. He had 2 interceptions. He's 6'1", 202 pounds, 9-year vet. Perfect for what we want. Keep him around for 2 or 3 years and let him help out the young group and solidify that room. Perfect. Now we're also going to stay with the defensive backfield and we're going to go and grab a strong safety. We're going to grab Keanu Neal. We're going to give him $4 million for 2 years. 26 years old, still got plenty of gas, and he played for Ulbricht in Atlanta. And I think Dallas is going to lose some players this year, so Keanu Neal's not going to be a priority. We're going to go and snatch him for $4 million. Now, here's the big bad voodoo daddy. This is the one that I want the most and should be our priority free agent, arguably with the cornerback. This is it. These are the places right here. We're going to go back to Dallas. Since we're in Dallas talking to Keanu Neal, we're going to stay right there and we're going to make a hard press for their tight end, Dalton Schultz. We're going to get this 6'5", 244-pound blocking, catching madman. We're going to give him anywhere from $11 to $12 million a year for 4 years, most of it guaranteed. Just get in here. We're going to blow his doors off with an offer, something Dallas can't meet, and we're going to get him in. Don't forget, guys, he had 78 catches for 808 yards, 8 touchdowns, 3rd in receptions in 2021, 5th in touchdowns in 2021. This is what Zach Wilson needs, even more so than another wide receiver. We're going to fix that too. We're going to add to that, but this is it. This is the outlet. Griffin, Croft, Daniel Brown, these guys aren't it, man. They're just not what Zach Wilson needs. We need Dalton Schultz. We're going to make him a priority, and we're going to bring him in for $11 million a year. We're also going to address the right guard spot. We're going to go up to Chicago. And we're going to grab a guy who played 100% of their snaps last year, 6'4", 295 pounds. He had 1,121 snaps and he gave up 3 sacks in that time. He also had 9 penalties, which was 8th in the NFL. Not bad, not great, but definitely not bad. Better than most of our guys, quite frankly. So this is James Daniels, the right guard for the Bears. We're going to grab him and plug him in, make it a competition, of course, but more than likely he'll win the job, and that will be nice and solid for us. Now, to back him up, we're going to go to Pittsburgh and grab a Charger, interestingly enough, and we're going to grab Trey Turner, a guy I thought we should have brought on last year. We're going to give him $2 million to be part of the depth package on our offensive line. He's a vet. He's good. He's solid. He's unspectacular, but he's a damn good football player, and he'll help to solidify that group. LDT, James Daniels, Trey Turner. I think it's going to be great. So in total, I spent $35 million in free agency. Not too bad. That leaves us with $15.475 remaining for the draft class. Now, that sounds like a lot for a draft class, doesn't it? Usually we talk about anywhere from $8 to $10 million for the draft class. But don't forget, we have 2 firsts and 2 seconds. So these are the guys that get the larger contracts per the CBA. So we need a little bit of extra cash. And don't forget, if we want to do a little bit of extra something, we can still cut a few guys. We have the Pirine, we have the Walter, we have the Zuniga. We have those guys that we can cut if we need to. Wesco, all right, we're keeping all those guys. They're under contract. They're here. We decided not to cut them, so we'll see. But they're right there on the fringe. So if you need a little something, you got the guys to do it with. So we have 15.475 going into the draft. We got 9 picks in the draft. What will we do? We're sitting at number 4, number 10, number 35, 38. Man, we got 4. We have 4 top 40 picks. This is unprecedented for us. It's been quite a while since we've had this much capital up top, and I'm excited to use it. Now, pick number 1. What should we do? Well, I'm going to tell you how the board's going to go. The Jaguars are taking Evan Neal up top. The Detroit Lions are taking Aiden Hutchinson. Now, I think there is a lot of potential for the Texans to go a different way here, but I'm going to use worst case scenario for me so I can start to address things in that way. I'm going to prepare myself for it. I think they're going to take Tibbs, all right? Thibodeau is going to be gone. So Hutchinson, Neal, Thibodeau, they're gone. Now what do you do? Well, in my opinion, you grab the best player in the draft at a position of dire need. Yes, we brought in Keanu Neal. Great. What are we going to do? We have Ashton Davis. We got Elijah Riley. That's what we're looking at. So we need a safety desperately. We need a ball hawking safety. It just so happens the best player in this entire draft, at least remaining, happens to be that exact position. 6'4", 210 pounds, ball hawking safety out of Notre Dame, Kyle Hamilton will be our 4th round pick. Now, for those people who say, we can't take a safety in the 1st round, I want to give you a little bit of a history, I'll say lesson, right? A history lesson here. A lot of people don't keep track of this stuff. So in 2002, we were here before. We needed a safety. There were 2 dynamic safeties in the draft, Roy Williams and Ed Reed. Many Jets fans, myself included, were hoping the Jets came out of that draft with Ed Reed. He was on the board with our pick. Guess who we chose? Now, we chose Brian Thomas. Why? Because we were going to get a safety in the 2nd round. It was a good safety class. So we didn't need to use our 1st round pick on a safety. We're going to get one in the 2nd round, which is what we're hearing a lot now. This is the deepest safety class probably since that draft. Honestly, that was the last really strong safety class. This is the next one. It's been 20 years, man. All right. So 20 years ago, we were here. We chose Brian Thomas. Good player. Played with us for 10 years. Was very, very solid. Had some really good years. But he's not Ed Reed. Fair enough. But here's why we took Brian Thomas and passed on Ed Reed. We knew that at our pick number 57, a 2nd round pick, we knew that we were going to be able to get another safety. And we took John McGraw, who I liked. I did. I liked him and I rooted hard for him, and he had some moments as a Jet. He only stayed with us for 3 years and he had 1 interception in that time. He also had about a 10-year career, I think, 9-10 years, and he had 10 picks total in his career. 10. Now, interestingly, there was a safety taken before Ed Reed, and that's Roy Williams, another stud muffin, okay? 5-time Pro Bowler, all that kind of stuff. So he was great. Then you had Ed Reed. 20 picks later, so Reed was taken at 24. At pick 44 was the next free safety drafted, okay? Only 20 picks later, guess who he was? Lamont Thompson. He had 0 Pro Bowls. I mean, look, he was all Pac-10 when he came in. He was the goods. It's another guy. He was the next safety taken in the draft. Only 20 picks after Ed Reed. That's nothing. That might as well be the same round, man. So Ed Reed goes at 24. Lamont Jordan goes at 44. He was highly regarded coming into the NFL. The next safety taken. He did nothing his entire career. He was a bust. So that's what I'm talking about. When you have greatness on the board, especially when you need the position, you take it. So that's what I'm thinking. Again, we've done this before. We've seen this before. We've made the wrong choice before. This time we're going to make the right choice, and we're going to take Kyle Hamilton, the safety out of Notre Dame, with pick number 4. And then we're going to follow that with pick 10. You got Linderbaum sitting there. You got Chris Cross sitting there. You got all these, or Charles Cross, whatever his name is. You got all kinds of guys. Icky's sitting there. What do we do? Well, we're going to stay with the defense and give C.J. Mosley his long-term partner, and we're going to grab Nakobe Dean out of Georgia. Another one, in my opinion, best linebacker in the class. An argument can be made for some other guys, particularly Devin Lloyd, who I like a bunch. In my opinion, Nakobe Dean is the best linebacker coming out in this class, so we just nabbed the best safety in the class and the best linebacker in the class. I think that's a fantastic first round. And on to the second we go. Now, what are we going to do here? We did some stuff in free agency, right? We got Dalton Schultz, you got some offensive guards, you got all sorts of goodies coming around. We're going to go with Zach Wilson's helper again. We're going to give him yet another dynamic weapon to use. Is it a wide receiver? No. We're going to take the best tight end in the class, who we're psyched is still sitting there, a la last year with Elijah Moore. We thought he might go in the last 5-6 picks of the first round. He didn't. He's sitting there at 35, and we grabbed Trey McBride, the 6'3", 260-pound tight end out of Colorado State, who the Jets fell in love with at the Senior Bowl. You do know that he's on our national team. Our coaches, our coach in the national team, Trey McBride, Charlie Kolar, Jeremy Ruckert, they're all on our team. Our coaching staff is going to get and nuzzle in real tight with Trey McBride, and we're going to have all intimate meetings and talks, and we're going to fall in love with him, and we're going to make him our first second-round pick. And Zach Wilson now has Dalton Schultz, Trey McBride, and Kenny Yeboah as his tight end room. Hey, man, we might be developing the best tight end room in the NFL. Truth, okay? If these guys work out, could be the best. Zach Wilson says, thank you. You're welcome, sir. We now got the best safety, best linebacker, best tight end in the entire class. I think we're crushing this one. So then we realize, holy cow, we forgot edge. We came into this draft wanting an edge. It was our priority. Why didn't we take Karlaftis? Well, because we thought Kyle Hamilton was better. Why didn't we take Ojabo? Well, we were gonna, but he got taken with pick number 31. So here we are at pick 38, and this is what makes it okay. We're going to grab Kingsley Enigmar from South Carolina, 6'4", 270 pounds. His numbers might not be exactly where you want him, but he is a stud. In my opinion, he's arguably the third best edge rusher in the class. You got Karlaftis, you got Ojabo, and you got Enigmar, and they're going to be, people are going to like one over the other. So we did a good job getting and addressing the edge with pick number 38 in the second round. So now we're going into our lone third round pick, the only round where we only have one pick. What do we do here? Well, this is where we're starting to get a little bit of breathing room. We're starting to look, okay, now where do we need to go? Where can we go? Who's the best player on the board right now? And it just so happens that even though we thought he might go in the second round, he's still there in the third at pick 69, and we're going to grab him. The center out of Notre Dame, Jarrett Patterson, gives us somebody on the pipeline developing behind McGovern. If there's a pinch, if something happens with Daniels or Trey Turner, McGovern can slide over. You can stuff Jarrett Patterson right in there without issue. Second best center in the entire class, in my opinion. An argument could be made for Lindstrom and a few others, but I love Jarrett Patterson, and so will you when he's on the New York Jets. So now we're going to stay with offense with our first fourth round pick. We're going to go and we're going to grab somebody that you might not have realized is still going to be there, but he is. This is George Pickens, a 6'3", 205-pound wide receiver out of Georgia. Now we got two guys from Georgia, two guys from Notre Dame. What is this? Well, they're good, and we wanted to stay with the people that are actually successful, right? We didn't plan it this way. It's just the way it's landing. So we're going to get George Pickens as a steal in the fourth round at pick 108. We love him, and we're happy. This guy is going to be an instant and immediate asset for Zach Wilson and probably fill the role that Mims was supposed to fill without issue. So George Pickens, 108. Pick 113, we're going to stay with the offense again. Why? Because we love fourth round running backs. That's why. Now, which running back are we taking here? Some people said he might be there in the fifth, even the sixth. Yeah, we're not playing that game. We think he's the best running back on the board, and we're going to grab Rachaad White, the running back out of Arizona State. Herm Edwards' gift to us, 6'2", 210-pound bruiser. Never goes down on first contact, has all the moves you want, loves to lower the shoulder, and he knows how to fall forward. For a 6-foot guy, when you fall forward, that's 2 yards in and of itself. I love guys that know how to fall forward. So he always falls forward. That's because of his impressive momentum. I want to thank Chris DiNardo, a viewer of mine, who told me, hey, Bean, you got to check out Rachaad White. You got to check him out. You're going to love this guy. I promise you're going to love him. And look, a lot of times people send me a guy and I look and I go, meh, whatever. Rachaad White, I fell in love with. I started with the highlights, then I watched the full game tape. Then I read all kinds of draft profiles and breakdowns, strengths and weaknesses. I'm like, holy cow. Pairing this guy with Michael Carter and then Tevin Coleman, it's going to be exactly what we need. We're going to be able to thump people, juke people, everything. So in the 4th round, we grabbed George Pickens and Rachaad White. Not bad. Dude, this is a good draft for Zach Wilson. He already got Trey McBride. He already got Rachaad White, George Pickens, Jaret Patterson. He's going to love it. He's going to be so happy and thankful. And then we're going to start our 5th round with my second favorite safety in the draft. Somebody I like. He's kind of a sleeper. A lot of guys love him. But I kind of wanted him last year, and then he chose to stay in school over at USC. Isaiah Pola-Mao, 6'3", 205 pounds, safety out of USC. I love him. And I think he's going to be great. He might not be ready to start right away, and that's what's good about picking him in the 5th round. Just let him sit back there and simmer with Elijah Riley and all those guys. Now we got a safety room that looks like this. Keanu Neal, Kyle Hamilton, Ashton Davis, Isaiah Pola-Mao, Elijah Riley. Now we're talking. So we're going to wrap this up with an absolute gem given to me by none other than Rusty Spooner himself. You don't know what a Rusty Spooner is? All you have to do is come to any live stream that we hold. He's there 100% of the time, and he throws out all kinds of gems. This one it might be the gem of all his gems. This guy, another one. I fell in love with him. I am dying for the Jets to take him. In my opinion, so far, he's the guy that I love, like a little sleeper guy. Every year I have 2 or 3 sleeper guys that I fall in love with. Kenny Willekes and all those guys. I love him. This is this year's guy, I think. Thank you, Rusty. I appreciate it. This is Leo Chenal, the linebacker out of Wisconsin, 6'2". He says 255, but he really plays at 260. 260 pounds of thumpitude in the one game against Purdue. This guy had 9 tackles, 5.5 tackles for a loss, and 3.5 sacks in that one game. This guy is an animal. He has all the work ethic that they like, known as a high character guy, just relentless football player. And this is exactly what we need. So now we brought in Nakobe Dean and Leo Chenal to go with Sherwood and Mosley and Nasruddin. Now we're talking. You see what I'm saying? We got thumpers. We got ball pluckers. We did it. So that is our draft. It looks like this. Kyle Hamilton, best safety. Nakobe Dean, best linebacker. Trey McBride, best tight end. Kingsley Enigmar, third, fourth, maybe 5th best edge rusher, but he's still going to be impactful nonetheless. Then we got Jaret Patterson, the 2nd best center. Then we got George Pickens, dynamic, big, tall hands, wide receiver for Zach Wilson. Then we got Rachaad White, the opposite of Michael Carter, the thumper, the bruiser out of Arizona State. Then in the 5th round, we took safety Isaiah Pola-Mao because, hey, it's known as the strongest safety class in 20 years. What would I be doing if I didn't go and grab more than one of them, huh? What are we doing if we're not going to take what the draft wants to give us? We need safeties. The draft has safeties. We took one at the top. We took one at the bottom, and that's how it's going to go. And we wrap this whole thing up with a punch in the face. Leo Chenal, 260-pound linebacker out of Wisconsin, and we are psyched. We got enough money to sign him. It's not an issue, and that's the way that's going to be. Okay, so let's look at our final roster. I'm going to bring out the chalkboard for you. That's what we're going to do. Here it is. So on offense, it looks like this. For quarterback, it's going to be Zach Wilson and Mike White. Our running backs are going to be Michael Carter, Tevin Coleman, Rachaad White, and I still got the potential for Austin Walter and LaMichael Pirine. See how that goes. I think there's a chance that both will not be here, but for today, we're going to keep them just hanging around. We got fullback, and I do believe we're going to keep a fullback. We have Bawden, backed up by Wesco. We have a wide receiver room that looks like this. Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Braxton Berrios, George Pickens, and Denzel Mims is going to be given another shot. And why wouldn't he be? He's 23 years old, and he has been successful up to this year. I think they'll give him another shot. and I agree with it. Tight end room looks like this now, going from Croft and Brown and Griffin. Now it looks like this. Dalton Schultz, Trey McBride, Kenny Yeboah, backed up by Trevon Wesco. Love it. Our left tackles are Becton, backed up by Edoga. Our left guard is going to be AVT, Trey Turner, and Cam Clark, who I'm really rooting for to be able to make a medical turnaround. The guy has had nothing but bad luck since he got here, and it's just the saddest thing to see. Hopefully he's able to make a comeback and he can be depth on our team. The center position looks like this. Connor McGovern, Jarrett Patterson, and Ross Pierschbacher. He'll probably end up on the practice squad, but that's fine. And Ross Pierschbacher will ultimately be the backup for Jarrett Patterson when McGovern is gone, and that'll be delightful. A guy on our pipeline that has been here for 2-3 years. That's what you want. You want your long-term backups. That's what you want. And Pierschbacher fills that bill. Right guard, we have James Daniels, LDT, and Isaiah Williams backing him up there. And then on the right tackle, we got Fant backed up by Edoga, the swing tackle. Don't forget, AVT can play tackle. And we might keep some guys on the practice squad. I think Connor McGovern is a candidate for that. We'll definitely have some more tackles floating around. This is what the active 53 is going to look like. Defense starts with this. Our edge rushers are going to be Enigmar, Huff, backed up by Zuniga. The other side is going to be Lawson, backed up by Tim Ward. Our defensive tackle group starts with Quinnen Williams and JFM, backed up by Phillips, then Rankins and JFM, backed up by Jonathan Marshall. I think it's a very, very strong defensive line, but it really starts to get exciting when we move into the linebacker room. We got Mosley backed up by Chanel. We got Nakobe Dean backed up by Quincy Williams, and then we got Sherwood and Nazrul Dean on the other side. And when they go to 4-2-5 and whatever they do, you'll obviously have different mixes and combos and all that sort of stuff. So the cornerback room now looks like this. Stephon Gilmore backed up by Brandon Eccles. We got Bryce Hall and Pinnock on the other side. We have a nickel corner that looks like this. Michael Carter II backed up by Isaiah Dunn. Strong safeties, Keanu Neal, Elijah Riley, and Polo Mao backing them up. And then free safety, Kyle Hamilton, Ashton Davis, again backed up by Polo Mao. So what do you think? We still got $50 to buy ourselves a cheeseburger after this craziness, but we have an entirely reshaped roster, still focus on high character guys, still a focus on dynamic playmakers. We added some vet leadership. We added some guys to strengthen places that were packed full of young guys. Still got the youth movement going on, but just enough vet leadership to balance it out. I'm really happy with this offseason. Like I said, I already changed my mind a couple times on some things, so I'm going to have to do this again, and we'll do it again with trades and all that jazz too. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm very curious. This is where, there's so many details here that we're obviously going to disagree on stuff. Let me know what you think about the whole, and let me know where you change things or what you like the best, all that jazz. As you know, I stay in the comment section for quite a long time, and I look forward to all of your opinions and thoughts here. We'll get this done. I have complete faith this is going to be one of the better off seasons in our history. I'm excited about it, guys. And if it looks anything like this, I might cry. You might see me cry. So again, I want to thank DraftKings, the sponsor for this episode of the Green Bean Jets pod. The link is at the top of the description. Click the link, promo code GreenBean, and you will get 56-1 odds. Don't forget to do that. Also, we have the contest. Just subscribe here and at Full-Time Coaster Tour you're in. And I'd like to thank Bluebird Creative Art for this amazing sign. Thank you, guys. I couldn't love it more, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. So, guys, I hope you're having a great week. And as always, go Jets.